Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. Here is a composite of my clients' experiences that embeds 7 key principles, practical and psychological, for landing a good job. After I tell you the story, I will call them out. Hello, my name is Jeremy. The only thing I promise you is that I'm going to be honest with you. For example, I'm not that smart. I felt lucky to get into a 4-year college, and it took me 6. I had no idea what to major in. So, because I was curious about what makes people tick, I majored in psychology, but soon discovered that that major had little to do with what makes people tick. But I didn't want to start over again with some other major and spend more years in school, more thousands of my parents' money. I did want a GPA, a decent GPA, but to get one, occasionally I had to cheat. I told you I'd be honest with you. After I graduated, I took a couple of months' break. I traveled a little, hung out a lot. Finally, I felt guilty, and because of my parents' pressure, I looked for a job, sort of. Best I could get was working in a cafe, but I soon got tired of that, and got tired of having to kiss up to my boss, plus having to work weekends, so I quit. My mother was sad, and my father, who rarely yelled, did. Get a job, get a real job in 30 days or your butt is out of here. I yelled back, stomped to my room, slammed the door so hard that a little paint came off the frame, and I got high. The next day, I laid in bed wondering what the hell I was going to do. I wasn't going to go to grad school, which is what you need to do to get a real psychology job. I thought, I like the idea of being creative, but I'm really not that creative. I like to write, sort of, short things. I like books, but to be honest, easy books. In the required English class, I never understood Shakespeare or most poems. So I decided to apply for entry-level jobs in book publishers' PR departments. I looked up how to write a resume and applied to jobs on LinkedIn, but I didn't even get rejections, silence, or as my country friend said, crickets. There were 10 days left in the 30 days, a fact that my parents reminded me of. No, they reminded me of 25, 20, 15, and now 10. I didn't really think that they would kick me out, but I needed something to motivate me, so I faked believing that they would. Grasping at straws, I got an idea. Maybe I could use my lack of creativity and my cheating to actually help me. I'd Google the word quotes and book PR and append the best quote I could find to the beginning of my resume and LinkedIn profile. The best quote I could find was this: writing a book without promoting it is like waving to someone in a dark room. You know what you have done, but nobody else does. Then I realized I don't need to cheat and claim it for myself. I'd get just as much mileage by saying who wrote it, Madi Preda, who wrote a book on how to market a book. That motivated me enough to apply for a lot more jobs in book publicity, and I got interviews for 2. I knew I bombed the first one. I said, I don't know, or I'm not sure, to 3 questions. I was so embarrassed I was tempted to cancel the second interview, the interview for the second job. But instead I tried to use my fear to really prepare. And I did okay, although I have to admit that some of it was simply the luck that my interviewer was my age. We clicked and I got the job, an actual PR job for a book publisher. Well, assistant to the assistant of the PR manager, and no, it wasn't Random House, far from it, but it was okay. No, more than okay. Now let's turn to the embedded principles in that composite story. Beware an introductory course's seduction. Taking a major's introductory course, for example, Introduction to Psychology, may not provide a valid enough sense of the major. That intro course often emphasizes the field's great fascinations rather than, for example, statistics, physiology, and theoretical models. That's at least in part because intro courses are used by the university to recruit students into the major. Before choosing a major, do look at the syllabi for the courses in the major, not just the intro course. You might even glance at the readings for those courses, maybe online, maybe even visiting the campus bookstore, COVID safe. Another takeaway from that story is that only sometimes is support more effective than threat. A core psychological principle is that praise and positive reinforcement work more enduringly than do threats and punishment. But across my many clients, as with the threats that Jeremy's parents issued, a threat can motivate, especially if support and gentle encouragement have failed. Another embedded principle in that story is developing a custom niche can be key to getting hired. A clear-eyed look at your strengths, weaknesses, and preferences can elicit a custom-tailored career goal, which thus is more likely to make you happy and successful in that career. In your case, or in this case, Jeremy's valuing books, but whose reading competency was, let's just say, modest, led him to a reasonable career goal, doing publicity for books. Another embedded principle, applications need to be distinctive without seeming desperate. Most ads for good jobs attract many applicants, so it helps to provide something beyond just reciting your skills and your interests. But it can't be cheesy like the person who FedExed a bottle of salsa to prospective employers saying, "I'm hot, try me." Jeremy's attempt at differentiation was appropriately modest. He simply put a relevant and compelling quote at the top of his resume. Another takeaway, quickly suppressing a setback can help. Oh, by the way, before I get there was something also he did. He thought that, I got to do something that's going to somehow amalgamate my lack of creativity and my cheating and my kind of liking books. He wasn't really sure, but he got started. And by getting started and looking up the quote, he realized, hey, I don't even need to cheat. When he realized that giving credit to the author would be fine. So very often, the wisest thing you can do is to take a low-risk action, and you can always revise as a result. It gets you in motion. Objects in motion tend to stay in motion. Okay, another takeaway. Quickly suppressing a setback can help. Bombing a job interview can shake a job seeker's confidence, of course. But after quickly asking yourself if there are any lessons to be learned, try to push forward. Like the young child who's fallen off a bike, it's usually wise to get right back on, lest the fear build. Another takeaway is try to convert fear into preparation. When Jeremy's first interview failed, he was tempted to curl up in a ball, but he made himself convert his fear into more diligent preparation for the next interview. And finally, luck matters, perhaps more than we'd like to acknowledge. Jeremy happened to have an interview who clicked with him. That was the tipping point. Of course, the more jobs you apply to, the more likely you are to have good luck. Per the cliche, luck favors the prepared. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I'm Marty Nemko. I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments, and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.